Hi, this is Lori from GLP-1 Journey in Review. Today, we're doing a video in my interview series where we talk to people about their weight loss journey. Today, we have with us Alan, who, besides being a GLP-1 user, is also a content creator. He has a really great channel, which will be linked down below in the description. So when you're done with this, please go over to his site, like, subscribe, and enjoy the videos. I want to start off by saying that I am not a healthcare provider. My guest is not a healthcare provider. We're just talking about what works for us. If you're planning on going on a weight loss journey, I strongly advise that you see your healthcare provider. If you find this useful at all, please smash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. With all that being said, Alan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Alan. I'm a 40-year-old man with two kids. I've been on GLP-1 Monjuaro since January of 2025,
Mhm.
and it was basically a life-changing thing that I needed to do for myself. Because if I didn't do it in my early 40s, then I'd be struggling by the end of my 40s, and I needed to focus on my family, my future, and my health. So yeah.
So, which medication are you on, and about how much weight have you lost?
I'm on Monjuaro. It's 12.5 milligrams, and I've lost 4.5 stone, which is, I don't know in kilograms because
And for all my U.S. viewers, stone is 17 pounds.
yeah.
I'm. It's too early in the morning for me to do the math, so I'll leave that up to my viewers. So it sounds like you're doing really good on it. What made you decide to go on a GLP-1 medication?
Now I've done every diet under the sun over the last 40 years. And I mean carnivore, I've done um, keto diets, Weight Watchers, Slimming Worlds, intermittent fasting, water fasting, juice fasting, going to the gym too much, not going to the gym at all, calorie counting, everything you could possibly think of. And yet, over the years, I just continued to creep on half a stone a year here or there. There'd be the odd occasion where I'd go on a diet and I'd do really well. And I'd lose 2, 3, 4 stone, and then something would creep back on over the next 2, 3 years. And basically, I was sat there the end of last year, and it dawned on me. I've got two kids in my life. I had a partner at that time, and if I didn't put my weight under control, then I wouldn't be around for much longer. See, I lost my father to alcoholism and an accident that came from that when I was 16, 17, and he was
Mhm.
46, 47. Now, my daughter is 9 years old, and my son, who's autistic, is 4. If I was to disappear at 46, 47, they'd be in the same boat, the same problem. And I know how much struggle I had to go through at the age of 16, 17 with my mum. The shock of my dad's death was mind breaking for her. So at
Mhm.
the age of 16, 17, I basically had to parent myself. So I didn't want to do that to my kids. I also, oh, ooh,
So,
there you go.
sorry, we're having storms here, so.
That's okay. I also wanted to be around for those things that my dad couldn't be. Like what I miss is I wanted my dad to be there to see the birth of my first child. I wanted my dad to be there to ask those questions that you want to ask your parents as you become a parent yourself. I wanted my dad to be there when my sister got married, but unfortunately he couldn't be. And I know how much that hurt me mentally, physically, emotionally, and I can't do that to my kids. I also can't do that to me. I can't rob myself of these future things. I want to be around for my grandparents. I want to be around for when my son and my daughter walk down the aisle, or become multi millionaires and put me in a care home and look after me, right? So there I was sat on I'm I was sat on a sofa, I think it was, and I was like, right, I need to sort this. So I did a lot of research because I've got an ADHD brain. I can research things incredibly quickly and ingest it very quickly. After 2 to 3 weeks of looking at tutorials and reviews and results, I realized that okay, I can get hold of Monjuaro. I can buy it online, or I could get it through the NHS, which is the National Health Service in the
Mm-hmm.
UK. But there's this long ass waiting list of possibly at that point up to 5 years. I mean, it's different now.
Right.
With the last 8-9 months, these GLP-1 medications have been recognized for what they truly are, which are life changing. But even then, I could still be waiting for 3, 5, 6 months at the moment. I've been on this for 9 months. I've lost 4.5 stone. I've already started my life change, so I just had to do it, and I'm really pleased that I did in the end.
Was there a particular aha moment that made you said, "Oh, everything else didn't work. I got to do something. Let me try these GLP-1s."
Yeah, see, my sister had bariatric surgery uh,
Mm-hmm.
3-4 years back. Basically, she had a similar issue. She would emotionally eat because of our family past. Um, and she has ADHD tendencies, just like me. And the easiest way to deal with something would be to self-medicate with food. We both avoid alcohol because of my father. It's one of the best byproducts he ever gave to us. Um, so because she'd put on so much weight, she developed hypertension, which basically meant that if she got really stressed, she'd go blind and have massive headaches. And that scared the crap out of me. So she then had bariatric surgery. She's lost 9 stone. Um, and all of those problems disappeared. Now, for ages, I was like, oh, should I consider bariatric surgery? Until I did my research and these magical, mythical weight loss jabs appeared. But the best thing about it is that they weren't just the rumors. They were medically cleared. They're cleared by the NHS. They're cleared by the FDA. And I was like, okay. And then obviously during COVID, everybody was on Ozempic. So there was physical proof that it was out there. So I was like, okay, I can get it. It's legal in the UK. I've tried everything else. Like I've soups and shake diets. I've thrown money after money after money for that. Right. So it's like, okay. At the time it was £150, which is about $190. Which I am aware is incredibly cheap compared to the American market.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I could get a discount code for like 40 quid, which was like $50. So I could basically take the first jab for like 90 quid. I was like, okay, I'll give that a shot. I can afford 90 quid a month for the first 2-3 months. Let's see how it goes. And the change was immediate. The impact was substantial and life changing, and that I also decided that right, if I do this, I go all out. Right, I'll make the videos even if they're only ever seen by me,
Mm-hmm.
because then that way I can't back out because it's there on the internet now. Right, there's kind of self accountability. I'm there. I'm talking. I'm sharing. I'm not an expert. Right, but if I can document my true man life at 40 going through it, maybe it helps somebody else. But at very least, I can look back on it in 3-6 months' time and go, there you go, Alan. Look then and look now. And it just so happened that I've accrued, I don't know, 1,700 other like-minded people like me. to kind of watch my journey with me. And once again, not an expert. It's literally just, I'm not here to sell a thing. It was literally a case of, if I can do it and you can experience it with me, and I can tell you honestly how I'm reacting, any negative side effects, any positive side effects, then that help the next Alan that makes that realization sat on his sofa that he can do it because I have, you know.
You do a great job of that. I'm a big fan of your channel.
Thank you.
So I can't have somebody from the UK and not mention the recent price increase. How are people actually handling it? Are they switching medications? Are they just rearranging their budgets? Are they just going off of it? From what you're seeing.
I know a few people that have gone on to Monjuaro recently. Now the NHS have slackened their approach to it. My former partner has recently started through the NHS, but they have to do an assessment process and go through all those. So in some cases, some people have seen the success and they're trying the NHS, and the NHS is very cheap. It's basically subsidised by our taxes, and you're looking at literally £9 a jab, which is outrageous. But hey, the way that works is that if the NHS can get a lot of people to lose weight, they don't have to then deal with them at the aftercare, the diabetes, the excessive weight loss, the gallbladders, the bariatric surgery that is tens of thousands of pounds. The other side of it is some people in the UK have switched from Monjuaro to Wegovy. In fact, the supplier that I use actively has been pushing that, hey, you know, if this isn't budgetly safe for you, here are some alternatives, which are Wegovy and Ozempic, and they offer them on the same website. Similar kind of thing. Now, the only difference is my research, I deliberately picked Monjuaro because it was a second generation of this drug. Now, that doesn't mean that it's safer or less safer than any other. Ozempic's been around for years as a diabetic drug. It's now being prescribed as a specific weight loss solution, or a different variant of name, but it's the same chemical compound. So the reason I went with Monjuaro is because I knew it was the second generation. It tackles two things: your GLP-1 and your satiety blood level. So therefore, it would help with my how much I'm eating, and then the reaction of me eating. Future medications will also change those. So I never planned on changing away from Monjuaro, but some people are. I'm very, very lucky that because of my videos and my affiliate link that's in all of my videos and the community that I built. Once again, if I can do it as a 40-year-old dude and I can win the trust of some of the people that goes, hey, you know, Alan's being honest, then they used the link and I got like a referral credit for each and every single one of those. So for the first 3 months, I was paying out of my own pocket. Now, thanks to the community and the YouTube revenue, which is only $50 to $100 a month, but that mixed with the referral, I don't need to pay now. So I'm very, very, very lucky, and I'm very blessed. But yes, some people do what I call medication mathematics. And the thing, before I took my jabs and when I was medicating through emotional eating, I would have 2 or 3 takeaways a week, maybe more. In my worst case scenarios, it was even down to a couple of takeaways a day because me and my ex-partner just couldn't be bothered. There was always something in the way. So we'd order, I don't know, sandwiches in the middle of the day and a takeaway in the evening. Now, if you think, if that's 3 takeaways that cost $30 a pop, right? That's $90 times 4. That's $360. That's a jab. Now I don't really have takeaways. Now I'm not eating a massive roast dinner because I can't. I don't. My body just goes, "You're done now, mate. Great." So one chicken that used to be me picking at it for an entire day and I'm fine was 4 meals last week. Healthy meals that I put alongside with veg that I'm craving. So the mathematics there work out. And I haven't denied myself takeaways either. I just don't eat anywhere near as much anymore. Even if my eyes are bigger than my belly sometimes, I just can't. So I just put it in the fridge and I'll have it the next day and the next day. So yeah, it's a case of some people have changed. Some people have used the NHS, or some people have gone, no, it's saving me money anyway. So yeah, it's a change. I believe that Eli Lilly have already taken a pot shot at the UK because the UK is the most expensive out of Europe. Because we've got the NHS and a load of gambles and we're quite disposable income wise. So it's a case of Eli Lilly saying, oh, but we don't want to pump up the prices, but you do because profit. Plus, if they can get as much money out of the first adopters or first generation of adopters, then the next generation of adopters can get it slightly cheaper in a year, 2 years time. So yeah.
Now, in the United States around 2022, 2023, Eli Lilly was basically giving anybody who had any type of medical insurance a coupon to get this medication for $25 a month. And they got a lot of people, by lack of other words, I'll say hooked on
Oh
the
yeah.
medication because it was working so well. And all of a sudden, they yanked that away. And the best coupon that you could get if you could qualify for it or get your pharmacy to accept it was 550 American dollars a month. So we kind of experienced that in the past.
Mm.
So, we're kind
It's
of sympathetic.
it's just an incredible price difference. Like if that's 550, you're looking at what 470 in UK money. That's a good chunk of my rent. Like if it was
Hmm.
choice between, I need to get healthier or I need to pay my rent, unfortunately my rent's going to win, right? That's why
Hmm.
I'm very, very, very lucky with what I do. I work from home. I'm a YouTube consultant by day, um, and I'm able to look after my kids with their special needs, and I have a healthy ongoing friendship with the mother of my children, so we share the kids, right? But if I had to have a normal job, normal. where I go to work every morning at 8 o'clock in the morning and don't come home until 5, 6 o'clock at night, and I'm grinding and 200-300 extra pounds is all I have disposable, and then I want to have a weight loss jab, I would be struggling. That's why I know that I'm very blessed. I may have done the hard work to do what I do, but I'm very blessed to be in a situation where I can afford to pay for these jabs or to generate content to help me pay for these jabs. But if it was to flip and the UK was to say, no, you have to now have American prices, which I've heard is possibly thousands on insurance,
Hmm.
that's ridiculous. It's the reason why I'm blessed by the UK system, the NHS, and we have we have what's known as national insurance in the UK. Basically, it's our health insurance, but immediately taken from our wages and at a substantial discount compared to what America happens to be. We then have a unified health system which haggles the living shit out of prices. Um, was in America, as I understand it, if they could charge the insurance company £3,000 for something that's $1, then the insurance company make money, right? And then therefore they can put that price on a thing, and then it's a whole game of capitalism on
Hmm.
steroids. So yeah, to have that option taken away from me in my former life when I had a normal 9 to 5 job, that would have been soul destroying. I can't imagine taking myself off this drug anytime soon because of the changes it's helped me with, the health benefits that it's given me. And in the long run, I'd like to, I don't know, lose another 4, 5, 6 stone, to be in that healthy region, because every stone I lose is more and more years for me and my kids and my future, you know?
Absolutely. So we all know how to lose weight because we've done it many, many times. The problem seems to be with maintaining it. Have you looked into how you're going to maintain? Are you going to stay on this medication for life? I mean, I know right now that's my plan, and I'm on maintenance until another medication or something comes along.
Yeah, because I started at such a heavy weight, 27 stone, um, I know that I've got a lot of potential to lose. Um, that's a benefit and a curse. So when I first started taking the jab, I was able to see a lot of weight loss because it's based on percentage, basically.
Hmm.
The bigger you are, the more calories you burn. And therefore, if you put less calories in you and you're more controlled within your sugar levels, then you're going to less that you're not going to spike your insulin as high, so it's not going to store as much fat, blah, right? Now, the benefit of that is also that I haven't had to be extreme on the diet habit immediately. The medication is doing it for me. The medication is limiting how much I eat without starving me. I'm feeling better because of the weight loss, and because I'm losing more weight, I'm becoming more active. Now, that also gives me a little bit of leeway. Now, the way the medication works is, as you know, you step up through the medication bands: 2, 5, 7, 5, 10, 12, 15. I'm currently at 12.5, which means that I've still got a step up if I want it. Um, but it also means that because I'm not strictly calorie counting at the moment, I'm just eating what my body wishes to have, that I've also got that as another arrow that I can shoot at this. I've got calorie counting. I'm not really exercising. I'm just moving more than I would have done when I was 4 or 5 stone heavier. So I've got exercise that I can lean to. So I've got many steps that I can do over the next, and I say possibly 2, 3 years. If all of this year was just jab, and all of next year is jabs and paying slightly more attention to macros, and then year 3 is more about building that muscle, or any other combination of those things, then
Hmm.
I know that I've got longevity within that jab for 2 to 3 years. But also the habits that I've learned now through just the the diet involved. I'm eating so much more veg now because I love it more. This time last year, I was only eating stuff because it would literally be I'd eat pork chops, or I'd eat a chicken, or I'd eat ribs or wings. I'd very rarely have anything alongside it. And if it was, it would be chips. Now I'm getting the urge for, I'm loving broccoli and cauliflower and peas at the moment, green beans, anything that's fresh that I can blanch and have crispy, fresh stuff. So at the moment, I'm learning healthier eating habits. I'm not just still eating chocolate and eating less. I'm eating now, month 9, healthier than I did month 1. So I'm hoping that it's teaching me these things, that it becomes second nature. I master diet, I master calorie counting, I master muscle growth, because when you hit 40, the more muscle you have, the longer that you will live. Um, because that's the thing that kind of withers in you as you get older, and that causes more problems, because if you're not as strong within your core, then that could be the thing that makes you slip, trip, or fall. So yeah, I've got that long-term plan. Now, would I stay on the medication forever? I'm hoping that I won't need to, but if I had to, yes. I imagine in 3 to 5 years' time, these jabs won't be £200-300 a pop.
Hmm.
They're already looking at oral medications. The original jabs, of Ozempic and stuff like that, are slipping out of copyrights and patents in other countries. And I believe it slips out of patent around about 2031 in the UK and 2028 in some of the Americas. So I know, worst case scenario, for the next 5 years, if I continue to pay whatever I do, which, as I said, at the moment, I'm lucky, I just don't pay money. But if in 5 years' time these patents slip out, then the same thing that happened to that little blue pill that used to be £200-300 a pop, that are now in gas stations. Like, you can walk into gas stations and it's like, here's your blue chew, right? That will happen to these medications. And the industry, the health industry, now realizes you've got a choice. Let them get fat and have all of these medical conditions, hypertension, back pain, diabetes, amputations, hip replacements, heart conditions, or give them a jab in which they can lose all that weight within a year, right, or 2 years, depending, right, and then never have to pay for this over here. The health system realizes the benefit of this now. So if I have to be on it for the long haul, I imagine it will be cheaper by the time that I need to maintain.
That's where you're lucky because your health system is just one. Here we have many different insurance companies, and the average person, they say, every 3 years changes which system that they're on, usually from a job change or their um, employer changes plans because one might be a little bit cheaper, whatever. And one does not want to pay the immediate payment because they're not going to see the long-term effects, where they're not thinking ahead, where, for example, we have United Healthcare and Blue Cross. I'll just use them. United Healthcare doesn't want to pay now because Blue Cross will see the long-term benefit, but they're not thinking that Blue Cross would be paying the immediate and United Healthcare might be seeing the long-term. And I don't know about in the UK, but if I were to need open heart surgery because of heart disease from being obese, you know, that could run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they don't seem to look at it. They're just looking at immediate costs.
Yeah, it's the pyramid of America, because they overcharge each other. Then these things cost exorbitant numbers as it is. Like open heart surgery, we don't get given these numbers because we don't have to see them because they're paid for by our
Hmm.
national insurance. But I've seen these things where people, they get hit by a car, they break their leg. There's 15 grand that they have to find out of their arse. I'm like, what the? How is that looking after your people? Plus,
Hmm.
we have 80 million people in the UK as a population, and yours is easily 10 times the amount, right? So if we are worried on our tiny little islands that if we let this obesity crisis, which is now abating in line with these medications,
Hmm.
if we let our population get out of control and obese, it will kill our NHS. If you get your population running out of control and going obese, that's a completely different factorial of problems, because you are 10 times bigger or 20 times bigger.
Hmm.
So plus this is one of those medications where, let's be honest, they finally found their treasure at the end of the rainbow. There was three
Hmm.
things that they only ever in the medical world wanted to solve for money, nothing else, right? Hair loss, they've solved that, right? Weight loss, they've now nailed that, right? And the other one was, possibly what? Cancer. They're leaning on those things, right? But yeah, the idea that they can continue to push drugs onto people now that solves that sorry, third thing's aging, right?
Hmm.
Cancer is something that they truly need to solve, but they haven't. Aging, right? You can now find stuff that rolls back aging, that makes you look younger, that looks after your body a little bit better, that protects you more, right? And the reason why those were important, along with like sexual health when it comes to Viagra, is because those are the things that the average day-to-day person will pay an arm and a leg to solve. And now they found it, right? And that's why Eli Lilly continue to absolutely dominate on what they're doing, because they found the golden goose now. Let's see how many eggs we can squeeze out of it. Let's see how many peptides we can put in it. So Ozempic was one thing that it's tackling. Monjuaro is two, right? There's another one coming out or testing, which is retatrutide, which is three. And this is the early stages of this drug.
Mm-hmm.
You give it another 5 years of them realizing that every time they add a peptide, they can continue to renew that copyright and that patent and make more money. They'll run for the hills. They'll continue to make more and more money. But the benefit here is, once it drops out the other end, you will go back to the walking into your pharmacist and getting a 25 quid jab, because Ozempic that still works. It doesn't stop working.
Mm-hmm.
Ozempic still works, right? When its patent runs out, it will still work. It just means that they can't charge an arm and a leg for it. That's why, as I said, 3-5 years time, you'll get those cheaper medications, those oral medications, and that this will change the world. Okay, because the mass thinning of the world population will then solve certain problems, and then heart conditions are a thing of the past. Diabetes are much more under control. And then we have to see what the positive impact of people being thin happens to be.
And when you mentioned diabetes, my wife is a diabetic, and her diabetes is totally in remission. And she used to be on two different types of insulin, the maximum amount of metformin, and now it's totally in remission from her Monjuaro. So, that is a good thing.
Well, that's
Uh,
it. And see, no matter how good diabetic drugs happen to be, metformin is still a powerful drug that causes problems to you in the long run. Just to be
mhm,
able to be off of that is such a huge benefit to somebody. And not only that, it continues to play the game where the more metformin you take, the more insulin resistant you become, which means you have to take more metformin, right? And the only reason I know that is my ex partner had gestational diabetes, and every month was a struggle for her. And yeah, as I said, she's starting Monjuaro, and hopefully that will solve that problem now as well. And it's all of these things. This is the ingenuity of human beings, right? There is always a capitalist element to it, which is fine. If you put in a lot of research, then you deserve to make an element of profit.
mhm.
Just so long as it's not absorbent, right? Then fine. And as I said, in the long run, these innovations lead to benefits for everybody else in future, and that can only help.
And I'm sure you've looked into the next generation, the orforglipron, the oral medication, retatrutide. I've heard several different pronunciations of it. Um, are you willing to switch to, let's say, retatrutide when it comes out? Have you given any thought to that? Because that's also has glucagon in it.
Yeah, because it's the next step. As I said, this is the one with 3 peptides.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, I'm currently doing okay on Monjuaro. And as I mentioned previously, I've kind of got a 2-3 year-ish plan in mind. Currently, let the drug do what it does. Next year, assist it with a little bit more calorie counting and exercise. In year 3, combine the 2 and 3. Now, if I continue to wish to lose more weight, then I now have that other option of a retatrutide,
Mm-hmm.
or pronunciation word salad. Um, so yeah, see, this is the benefit of it all. There are places that you can kind of get hold of it at the moment. Do I want to try it at the moment? Maybe, but I'm on Monjuaro and it's already working. So
Mm-hmm.
why break it if it already works? And if Monjuaro gets me down to, I'm 22 stone 3 pounds as of today. If I get down to healthy 15, 16 stone, then do I really want to lose more? Or am I okay with 15, 16 stone and now I change the composition of my body to be more uh, muscle related? Do I, because obviously if I go from 27 stone to 11 stone and lose 16 stone, um, which is an outrageous amount of kilograms, I don't know.
Mhm.
You use the wrong system, America. We use the old system. That's why we loved it. We loved tea bags, Boston, and every so so yeah. It's kind of a case of if I get down to a point where I see the health benefits of switching to a next generation, then I'll do so. But if it's down to okay, I'm healthy, I just need to bulk up with muscle, then I'll go down those routes. But it's nice to know that that's in my back pocket now. And once again, they won't stop at generation 3. They won't. They'll
Right.
they'll they'll make jabs. But there's been this arms race for muscle gain for decades. I've never been on those in any way, shape, or form. But the science behind those kind of things have been around for forever. And as you've seen, they can make grotesque human beings that look like giant balloons that have eaten elephants, and that can be a Mr. Olympia thing. If they can do that with muscle, but they switch it and can do it with actual health, which we know we can because that's what science does, then this thing will change the world. And if they nail the weight loss, which they're doing, what is stopping them from doing that next generational thing of longevity and health? So not only are we healthier, but us as a species are living past 116, 120, 130 years old, and it's a completely different game changer.
Now let's switch to side effects and plateaus. Have you had any of them?
Yeah, when I first started on the 2.5 milligrams, my very first side effect was immediate, and it was the world's shortest headache. And I think it was stress and concern that, oh, I've never done this jab thing before, and I took the jab and my brain went, there's something in you, and then literally headache went within like 20, 30 seconds. After that, nothing really for the first 2, 3 months. The wanted side effects, obviously you eat less, you feel fuller quicker, it takes longer for you to digest, so you don't really want food by the end of the day, and that was a noticeable difference. Now I didn't starve, I didn't struggle, and I didn't worry about this thing either. um the best thing about it is that it was so natural. If anything, I had to remind myself every now and then, well, what have I ate today? Okay, I might as well have a right. And it's nice to get to the end of the day and go like, I have to have a chocolate bar. I have to. It's just calorifically required. Now when I stepped up to slightly higher doses, 5 and 7.5 milligrams, that's when I started realizing that I can't just wing it with stuff. So if I take a jab on a Sunday and then I have a whole roast dinner, like every British person does, we sit there with the Queen and the King and our swans. If we sit there and we have something heavy on a Sunday and I've just taken the jab, you've got to remember that's going to sit in your body for a while and it's going to ferment because that's how the medication works. So if you're eating too much, then that's when I started suffering with sulfur burps, eggy burps.
Mhm.
But then you adjust. You realize that, okay, I shouldn't really take a jab and then have 50 billion roast potatoes and the world's biggest piece of chicken, right? So I started taking jabs, and then my meals were slightly lighter the first day or so after my jab. Um, More salad, slightly more veg, that kind of thing. This is where, as I said, it kind of trains you by proxy to eat healthier, to want better things anyway. Um, I've had 1 or 2 cases of constipation, but I think that's more of a case of because I'm not eating as much, I'm not getting as much liquid as I used to.
Mhm.
And once again, it trains you, hey, drink more water or drink more something. Um, I'm still drinking fizz. I currently have Diet Pepsi on and off, but I used to have, before the jabs, 5 or 6 cans of Diet Pepsi a day. Now I'll have maybe a glass, a pint in the UK. I'm not sure, like 500 milliliters. America, you're welcome. So I'll have a pint of Coke that I slowly slip over a period of time, if at all. I'm very British. I woke up this morning, had a cup of tea. As long as the cat doesn't tackle it, because if I leave it for long enough, the cat goes in on it. I'm looking over
You
there
have a
to say,
British cat.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, like the there's nothing major. I've had the only thing that really upset me, pain wise, was I was stupid. Basically, there's injection points. You've got your under your arm, your thigh, and your belly button kind of area. I thought I'd be smart, and I've worked my way around the belly button where the fat and flabby bits happen to be, right? But I thought I'd kind of inject slightly higher up where the slightly more visceral fat, because it's solid. Well, what that also is your abdominal muscles. So I injected into abdominal muscles, and it has a very substantial effect because it's being metabolized by muscle and not by fat, and it's direct rather than through
Mhm.
subcutaneous level layers of fat. So what that basically did was put the whole medication into super mega drive, and it shut down everything for a period of a day or two, where basically it's trying to process it through my gallbladder, it's trying to process it through elimination, and then I got trapped wind because it couldn't go anywhere. So that that was a bit painful, but then you realize you need to do your walking, you need to drink a lot of water, and you don't be a twat. Don't inject it where it's follow the instructions that are on medication. Don't inject into muscle. Inject into subcutaneous fat. Here's your 3 areas, right? So follow the rules, and you don't get penalized. So it's fine. But other than that, no, I the positive side effects is weight loss. The positive side effects is educational of nutrition. I'm more active. I sleep better. My brain's better. I've got more energy because I'm not lugging around 4.5 stones
Mhm.
worth of additional weight. Um, so I think no, the biggest side effect. Here you go. Here's your warning. You ready for this one? Is
Oh, yeah.
buying clothes. I started in 4XLs. This is a 2XL that is now baggy, right? I started with 54-inch waist. I'm now about to buy my second pair of jeans because I'm down to 46, 48. And it's I joke, but it is a fantastic side effect, because for years as a fat person, I'd buy a set of jeans, they wouldn't fit me. I'd be like, oh, don't worry, I'll slim my way into them. And then they live in the wardrobe, and then you never wear them, right? Because you just slowly go up in weight. Now I'm going the opposite way, where they're still in my wardrobe, and I'm now jumping into these jeans that I have sat in my wardrobe. But I'm also a constant t-shirt wearer. So I've still got all of my old t-shirts. I just wear them as pajamas or tents or gazebos now, and helps with barbecues. Just stretch a giant t-shirt out the back. It's great. But yeah, there's a hell of a lot less concern now for me, and the things that it nudges you towards is so much healthier than what my life was beforehand.
Now, you mentioned that you inject in your stomach. Are you primarily a stomach injector, or have you used the other sites, your leg and your arm?
No, I've it's just belly. Mainly because I've done it in belly and I know it works. It could work in my arm, it could work in my leg. But once again, it's kind of a case of, why would I change from Monjuaro to anything else when I know it works? Why break it if it's working? Um, if I get into a sustained plateau, then maybe I'll change it. But at the moment, the longest plateaus I've had are a couple of weeks, and even those are either because I went to a conference in Birmingham in the I think it was like March, April time. And then at the end of April, I went to Dubai, where I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to take medication whilst flying. I didn't want to take a needle abroad because I don't know what their rules are. But even then, because the medication was still in me, I didn't have any major problems. And then, yeah, so plateaus happen, but that's because you've lost a lot of weight and your body needs to adjust the weight you've lost. Or it's too regiment. You've got to remember that if you was on a normal diet, your calorie intake would wildly fluctuate from day to day. Do you eat a load of chocolate one day? Yes. Do you get ill and not feel too well the next day and eat nothing? Yes. And your body adjusts to these levels. Whereas if you're on these weight loss medication, you kind of by nature kind of sit along the same kind of thing. So every now and then you might need to shock it by having a cheat day or a roast dinner or a
Mm-hmm.
chocolate bar in the evening. But yeah, I've just broken through a plateau from 22 stone 5 pounds to 22 stone 3 pounds. And yeah, I'm pleased with that. It's fine. Every time I seem to plateau, it seems to change my body shape anyway. So yeah, as long as I know that this is a long haul thing. It didn't take me 2 weeks to put on 20 stone, right? It took me years, and it will take me a few years to put myself back into a healthy bubble. So slow, steady, consistent, right? But the thing about this is that if on any other normal diet, Weight Watchers, Slimming World, you get those weeks where you're like, oh, how have I put on 2 pounds? And then that house of cards collapses, and then you've
Mm-hmm.
lost a stone, but you might as well put it all back on over the course of the next month. I don't have that urge at all with GLP-1s. If I have a bad day, I have a bad day. Oh well. If I have a bad week, fine. If I've maintained, fine. Right? I know that I've lost this weight over this period of time. I now believe in myself and the medication that if I had a bad week, I'll sort it next week. It's fine. And that also helps me maintain on this medication and this life change that is this diet. It's not really a diet. It's a change of rhythm now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so grateful for it.
This is a multi-part question. So, with your family and friends, when did they start to notice the weight loss? And did you tell them right away that you were on a medication?
Um, I told my partner at the time, this is what I plan on doing. The reason why it needed to be that nuclear person is that you're in the house with me. I'm doing this thing that I've never done before. If there's immediate issues, you are the one person that can medically say to the emergency
Mm-hmm.
responders, Alan's taking this, Alan's having heart issues, or whatever, right? That's the only person that I told, right? Everybody else, it's none of their business, right? It's for me, my future,
Mm-hmm.
my kids. So for the first month, no, nobody, I told nobody. And then by the end of that month, I started to get the odd kind of person like, hey, are you losing weight? It's like, yeah. It took me a couple of months before. I say I'm not telling anyone, but I was making videos online,
Right.
right? For the accountability. I never expected people to really find them, but they did. And if they did find them, fine. It's not a problem. But I weren't actively telling people this is what I'm doing. Within the first 6 weeks, I lost about 2 stone, which is starting to become noticeable, and people are asking. Once again, if they're interested, great. If they're not, fine. Doesn't bother me. Once again, this kind of journey only really affects me. Um, so, but after a while, you can't really hide it. Um, so even when I was doing school runs for my daughter, some of the parents were like, "Hey, you okay? You're looking great. What you want?" And then at that point, I was like, "Hey, I'm on Monjuaro." Because I don't, there's no shame on this for me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. It's not a cheat medication. I if it's a cheat medication, cheat me up. I don't care. Right? Give me the codes, give me the locker, give me the game genie. I'm that old. If you get that reference, I love you. Right. Just everything, not a problem. Right. It's not a cheat for me. Right. If I don't think it's a cheat for anyone, really. You're making a health choice for yourself that will help you in your life, in your family, in future. And there's some people that need to hear that, right? At the end of the day, every pound or two that I lose is more and more time I spend with my family in future. And I didn't want to rob myself or my kids of that. So now I'm an advocate. If anyone asks, I'll give them the link. I'll give them a website. I'll show them my blogs. It's great. But yeah, initially I just wanted it with myself. Why? Because the PTSD of former weight loss diets. How many times in the past have you gone, I'm going on Slimming World. This is the time. This is the time I lose it. And then 6 weeks later, you're like, oh, fuck. And then you just don't mention it. And then it can. Now, I don't just edit. I'll put it on my windows. I'll tattoo it on my forehead. Right. I don't care. Right. It's helping me. It's helping my family. And the sheer benefits here, like I've helped at least 30 people via my channel now start their weight loss journey through my affiliate link alone. 3 or 4 people in my own personal bubble have seen what I've lost and gone, how? And I give them the link, right? And that's the thing that makes me happy. Those are the 30, 35, 40 people that were Alan sat on that sofa in December last year that are actively making that choice, that needs that help. And they've gone through those. Nobody goes on these medications as a first option. No one. Right. And if you do, maybe you should have tried a few other things beforehand, but still, these are healthy, they are safe, and it will help you in the long run. Right. But my honest opinion, and my YouTube statistics prove it, right? Most people that watch my videos are anywhere between 25 and 40 years old or older, right? And the reason for this is because you've put on that weight, right? At 25, 30, 35, you know in the back of your head that you need to do something. There's no way that I got to 27 stone and at no point in the back of my head I've just gone, oh, keep eating wings, right? I know there was a problem. I tried everything else, and then the GLP-1 medication is my safety net. Some people, it was Weight Watchers. Some people nailed it with Slimming World or calorie counting or intermittent fasting. I couldn't, right? And that's no shade on me. That's why I don't feel that it's a cheating option. It's just another option. And this one works for me and many, many others.
It's funny nowadays when you look at somebody and you've noticed that they've lost 20 or 30 pounds. One of your first reactions is, which medication are you on?
Yes, yes. But that's a sign of the times. Like when everybody went into COVID, right? Everyone was like, right, I either need to lose weight or I'm going to sit here, be comfy, and I'll gain weight. But then it was all over the news. You saw, Kelly Osbourne, which is a massive change. Like when she was more robust and rotund, right? Compared to now, it's a huge difference. And that's Ozempic, and so's her mother. And then you saw it everywhere. Everywhere, everyone was losing a stone or two, right? And if all of a sudden there was this brand new invention where you could take 3 pills or an injection and put on a load of muscle weight, right? They would be doing it. Oh, hang on, they did. It was called steroids. And everybody looked at those, and you had in the back of your brain, wow, is the Rock natural or is he on steroids? Right? 1, his personal choice. 2, steroids actually have a negative effect in the long run, right? 3, GLP-1s currently don't, right? But do you look at the Rock and immediately go, he's on roids? Who gives a fuck? Right? I apologize for my French, right? I'm very British and it's free flow.
I use it
Right?
all the time.
But it's very it's very hypocritical that if people have been doing steroids for 20 years and that's become almost socially accepted, why is people actively trying to help their weight and their health something that needs to be kind of shat on, right? I'm proud that I've done this, and I'm proud that I've lost my weight, and I'm proud, and I'll continue to say that it was GLP-1 for the rest of the time. I will never say that I was Pilates and weightlifting.
Hmm.
I don't look like Pilates. I will never look like Pilates. Um, and I was one of those people that wouldn't run unless being chased by a lion. And if that case, he's going to get a really big meal, right? It's just not happening any other way. But this, as I said, I keep coming back to it. It was solely for my health, my family, and my future, right? Because I needed that focus. Now, lots of things have happened this year, for the good or for the bad, right? But those three pillars have been the thing that carry me, and they will be going forwards. But there's no way that I won't be an advocate for this for the rest of my life.
Now, the next question is a little bit controversial. It's adolescents using the GLP-1 medication. Right now, Wegovy is approved, I think, for 14 and up, and Monjuaro or Zepbound is trying to get approval for 13 and up. What is your opinion of adolescents using a GLP-1 medication if they're overweight?
Yeah, this one's. I've got a daughter. She's 9. She constantly worries that she's chubby. She's not. She's nowhere near it. The psychological makeup of a child before the age of 21, maybe even 25, when you learn new habits, is wildly different to somebody at the age of 40. Um, I've had 10, 15 years, 20 years, I'm 40. Gee, of trying diets and trying things. Now, would I slam a parent for putting their kid on a GLP-1? No. Would I certainly check to see if they've tried everything else beforehand? Probably. A kid can be more active at the age of 13 than a 40-year-old can be that's 27 stone. A kid is also nutritionally supported by their parents, or should be.
Hmm.
If a child has got to a grotesque level of weight without a medical condition before they're 16, then that's on the parents, in my opinion, because they should have helped them in some way, shape, or form. They should have fed them slightly differently. They should have been more active with that child. But if there's a medically clear reason why that child needs a GLP-1, then great. There's an option there now, right? I'd much rather that they take a GLP-1 than develop diabetes by the age of 20.
Hmm.
Um, but it shouldn't be a magic wonder drug. It shouldn't be a 16-year-old going, oh, I've put on 2 or 3 pounds and I feel fat because Vicky's super skinny, so I need to be. No, that's not the option, right? Just like disordered eating was never an option, or not taking your insulin pen if you're diabetic when you're that age to
Hmm.
diabetically slim your way down. That's not an option. Education and nutrition should be your basis at that age, right? And if you can't educate the parents or the child, then there is a medical reason. And if there's a medical reason, that's when medications can step in. And GLP-1 is a medication that could be prescribed by a doctor.
Now, did you have any other health conditions like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or anything before you took the medication? And if you did, are they getting better?
No, I'm very, very, very lucky. There's diabetes in my family, but it's hit my sister and not me. There's high blood pressure and heart attacks within my family, but that is on the male side of the family. Um, so in theory, I could be at risk of that. But at the moment, or at the time that I started, I was high blood pressure, but not dangerous. I now am much closer to average blood pressure thanks to the weight loss.
Hmm.
And that's also something that I'm happy with. It's trending in the right direction. Um, but I know that this is why I was sat on that sofa. Once again, keep going back to that. I knew that if I didn't do it now, in 5 years' time, all bets are off. Another 5 years of abuse, another 2.5 stone to 3, 4 stone put on. If I hit 30 stone, which is, I don't know, something still like 500 pounds, right? Then you're wrecking your body. You're causing damage. So I knew I needed to do something. I think the spectre of my dad's death has helped me here. Ironically, he's teaching me things from the grave through his bad habits. But it's a lesson that I've learned either way. So I'm blessed that there wasn't something chronic. But as I said, I there could have been if I just kept going.
Now let's talk about your channel a little bit, which will be linked down below in the description. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, it's video diaries of me basically losing weight. Any questions that I came across that I was curious about that I had to go off and research, I then make videos of. Because if I'm asking that question, the future person sat on that sofa will be asking those questions. I also get a few questions from the community. I've started a WhatsApp community. It's free. I don't charge for it. The idea was that if I got a load of like-minded individuals that are also on a similar health diet, or they're using the GLP-1 medications for addiction or anything like that, things that uh, quell the craving within your body. That's what the GLP-1s do. Then there was that community that I could generate and I could talk to. That way, I'm not waxing lyrical to a load of skinny minis that are around me in my life, because there's a lot of skinny minis that are my friends. I'm not talking to them about insulin and diet control and macros and micros and peptides. I've got a community to help with that. Now, there's 1,700 people currently subscribed to the channel. And once again, the reason for this is I'm not an expert. But one expert that I absolutely love is not in the medical field, is Gary Vaynerchuk. And he inspired my working career, which is me as a YouTube expert, which is do the thing that you love. And if you're an expert, give your advice. But if you're not an expert, document your journey, because your journey is more powerful than you can imagine. And hopefully, over 9 months and I don't know, possibly 150 odd videos on that YouTube channel now, 2, 3 a week, that kind of thing. Those videos help other people along that journey and help people, that way you fall in love with how cheeky Alan is. You can appreciate his weight loss journey. And then when I figure out what needles I need, what multivitamins I go for, what soups, shakes, or food that I want to eat, then I can share it with them. And in return, the community educates me as well. And that's the best thing of this, the constant feedback loop, including Laurie. She's part of my community, right? And
Mhm.
she helps, she's around, she's been nagging me for ages for this chat. Right. But it's so supportive. Everyone's so friendly because everyone's had a similar journey. And if I can share that and that helps somebody, great. And if in 5 years' time and I look back and I'm the skinny mini, right, I can then say, look, this is where I've come from. So I understand, all you need to do is this or that, right? Do I plan on becoming some kind of Pilates fitness instructor? Hell no, right? But if I can be an advocate for people that choose their life and their future over their damaging eating habits, then great.
Now, you brought up people with addiction. There's a lot of off-label, um, for lack of better terms, uses for this medication, like addiction, liver disease, heart disease. Uh, they even say that you have like a 10 to 15% chance, less chance of getting Alzheimer's if you're on the medication, Parkinson's, and so forth. Uh, which one of those gets you most excited?
All of them, in all honesty, this proves that science is fantastic. We you strike onto one thing, you solve one thing, and then it radiates from there. This was a diabetes medication for so long. The idea of how it would help the diabetics is that if they lose weight and they can control their blood sugar levels, then it can help them with their sugar control and it gives them a normal life. Okay, but if you do that to somebody that's obese and you lower your blood sugar levels, so therefore you control their insulin levels, which then therefore helps them lose weight because insulin triggers fat gain, right? Then these are the things that science and medication should be for. Okay, we should have always looked at something and then ideated around that. The reason for this is because the more we learn about the things around us, the more we can help. And we used to do it a lot. We used to go out into the Amazon, find something in the bark of the tree, and that would become paracetamol, right? Or Tylenol, I believe you call it in America. For reference, Trump, you're wrong. Don't get me started on that one. I've got an autistic son, right? So we went out there, we found these medications, we learned that it would help us and make us better. The only problem nowadays is that it's a capitalist area in which they need to eke a little bit more money, or, oh, I can't let that go out because that will affect this profit, right? But this proves that they struck on one idea and now they know that these peptide ideas are a gold mine. All we have to do is unlock them. We've figured out what the human body can do, right? And if this jab helps somebody with their addictive personality, if it helps, I've got friends that have stopped drinking and stopped smoking because they don't have that urge, because these jabs help with that. And we need to figure out why, right? Because it generates GLP-1 in the gut, but it also generates GLP-1 in the brain, but it also has other chemical effects in the brain. And if that chemical effects can help people with drugs, can destroy people's lives, like the recreational drugs that we're not really supposed to be taking, they can destroy people's lives. Weight gain can destroy people's lives. If we can take the same drug and give ourselves, our family, our friends, and our future back, why are we not doing it? So the fact that science can look at these things and finally start allocating another solution. What's us saying that if we can solve obesity with these, in 6 generations down the way, Alzheimer's, cancer, anything. This, as I said, this is the unlock for longevity. These are the things that there's peptides out there that can help you age slower, that can give you more energy, right? But they're not on the market, right? Why? Either medicine people haven't touched them or we haven't done enough research. This thing here, they finally unlocked, proves that we should be looking at these kind of things, and they will do more and more research in future. And of course, it generates enough profit for these companies, so they now know that it is a viable option for them to research as well.
So what would you say to somebody about to start the medication or thinking about starting a GLP-1?
Oh, do it. Do it. Like, there's no hesitation in this at all, right? And if you do have any hesitations, like, contact me or Laurie. Like, there's every question that you think of. Oh, is the needle going to hurt? Yeah, no. It's like if you pinch yourself, pinching yourself would hurt more, right? Am I going to bleed? No. Maybe 1 in 10. Is it a gusher? No. Right? Am I going to have bad side effects where it flushes out of me? Only if you jab it in the muscle like an idiot, right? Just do what it's supposed to do, and it'll be fine. I wish these had existed 5-10 years ago, right? I truly wished. But to quote Bill Burr, right, who is one of my all-time favorite comedians, the fact that I deliberately got Generation 2, right, was because they needed some time to work these things out, right? When they were doing hair transplant 10 years ago and they were stapling ant legs to people's heads, it just looked a bit weird, right? But now they've perfected it and they know how to do it, right? I swear to God, right? If I have a choice between 3 takeaways a week or a jab that helps me lose weight and have more time with my kids, it's a no-brainer. No-brainer.
Any last comments or anything?
No, I love the community that we have.
Mm,
Um, I truly am grateful for you inviting me. It's really nice to talk about these things, and the community in general are so open because everyone's got to that stage where it's like I've been talking about weight loss or I've been talking about diets to friends for so many years, right? And after 6 weeks or so, I had to kind of be quiet because it's not doing so well or whatever. Now everyone's an advocate, everyone's friendly, everyone's offering advice. Um, and you put an idea out there and they'll go and research it for you. It's fantastic. And at the end of the day, if you've tried everything that you possibly can and you feel like you're never going to find that solution, try a GLP-1, right? Worst case scenario, it doesn't work, but it doesn't hurt you. Best case scenario, 4.5 stone in 9 months. It's changed my life.
absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for giving us some time. It's been a pleasure, and maybe in about 6 months we could do a follow-up, see how you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, great. Sounds great to me.
All right. And with that, that's going to be a wrap.